All right, guys, let's dive right into it. Again, welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. If this is your first time joining, welcome. I'm Jason there on the left. And as always, we're lucky to be joined by David Rockland, who is the digital strategist and so much more here at Brilliant Directories. David, thanks for taking the time to help us out and be with us in the webinar today.
Hey, everybody. So glad to be back with you for another webinar. Number 187 today, slowly making our way to the big 200. I got some great updates to share with you all today, so really looking forward to this one.
Are we going to hit 200 this year in 2024?
I don't think so, but I think we'll get close.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, if we hit that 200, we could do a milestone. I love doing the iPad giveaways and things like that. It's always fun. All right, and we are streaming live on YouTube. So those of you joining us on YouTube, welcome to the webinar. Also recommend subscribing to the Brilliant Directories YouTube channel. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube and click on that subscribe button. You'll get notified as soon as webinar replays have been posted up there, tips of the week, featured tutorials, and more. And also what I love about doing the YouTube live is the replay link for this video will be immediately available and we'll post it in the BD Facebook group. If you're not already a member there, all are welcome. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and click on that blue join button. It's a great way to ask questions, meet fellow BDers, other people working on their member or directory websites, and share constructive ideas. And if you have your BD site and you don't have the Brilliant Directories app, highly recommend getting it. You can see your recent members, recent transactions, all on the go. For the Apple Store, you can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Apple app. And for Google, go to /Google app. You can also search for Brilliant Directories in those app stores. It's free to download. And again, it's just a great way to stay in touch with your BD website. What I like most about it is if you have multiple BD websites, you can toggle between them and then see your recent members and transactions per website. It's pretty simple, but lots of fun and just powerful enough to make it worthwhile there. And we do see a few new names here. Welcome to the webinar. Dezada, good to see you here. Molly, we've seen you here before. Just a little bit about Webinar Wednesday. The BD team is always pushing new updates week after week into the platform. Many of them are from your suggestions, things we pick up in the Facebook group. So again, big pat on the back for you guys. You guys are helping to improve the platform for everyone. And in the webinars, we like to try and cover some of the features that can help you grow your community, take actionable steps to increase traffic, convert visitors to members, revenue opportunities, and things like that. So if you have questions on any of these topics, if you're working on your site and you're stuck or you want to know some more information about the platform, please save your questions. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A in this webinar. We should be able to get to everybody's questions. And yeah, before we dive into that, we do have some BD Lab updates to share. I'll just start at the top of the list here and work my way down. So the first one at the top of this is related to cleanup. With BD sites, you have a media manager, your members can add images and things like that. But just to help keep things nice and organized, you can now delete orphan images. Maybe you've deleted members or posts or things like that. The system can now clean up images and other things to help keep your storage under control if you're getting close to your limits and things like that. So it's a good mitigation strategy. And if you're not familiar with the section in your admin area, I'll just scroll down here. You do have a My Website Resources section. And what you'll find here are some cleanup tools. And I'll quickly go through some of these. The first one is clean up unused images. This is safe to do. What the system does is, again, maybe you had members that you deleted and they had profile images and logos. They're not necessary to keep in your storage. You can delete those. Same things with posts and single posts and photo album types of posts. So these are orphaned images. The posts don't exist anymore. This is good you can calculate and how much storage is being used from, unused images. And then you can click clean all files. I think right now this is limited. You won't see the limits, but to 20,000 files found at a time. We're going to update this soon to be unlimited, but this is a great way to keep your storage under control and clean up the files. In addition here, I'll just go through this. You can also delete temporary files. These are temporary image files. Old export files, all those CSV exports that you do like for members and posts and whatever, they're stored as files locally in on your site, and you can delete them if they're just old and you don't need them anymore, or you're done with those exports. And then also lastly, if you've done backups yourself from cPanel, you can delete the backup files. Now, important thing about this, we have our own backup of your site. So this is only for the backups you do. You can go ahead and delete them. It'll save a ton of space. BD still has backups of your site up to 14 days, and then once per month after that. So this is safe to do the backup ones. I checked with the dev team myself. I wanted to make sure we're not deleting our backups of your sites in case there's an emergency restore that needs to happen. But these are all safe to do for you guys. All right, the next one here, the next two actually are related to the Brilliant Directories API and actually how it works with Zapier. The ability to now add or deduct credits, both with bulk actions under the search members page, as well as with the API or Zapier, are now available. Soon we'll connect with the Pabbly and the Integrately team to get those actions working there as well. And same thing with member tags. You can add or remove member tags, both with the bulk actions and also via the API and Zapier. Let me quickly show you with the bulk actions where these are. So we can go to search members here. And if you're not familiar with the member credits, it's a way to give your members credits that they can spend on your website. It's a great way to incentivize them to learn, like purchasing their first leads with some credits, or if you want to reward them, I'll actually share this add-on link here. I think most people are familiar with that, but if you're not, I'll just drop a link here, and there's a video on this page. Great. And let's go back here. So with the search members, if you're not familiar, you can do a search of members, and then there are quite a few bulk actions that you can do here. So we'll see here, add, remove credits and add, remove tags, the member tags. Let's check out the credit ones. Let's select some people here, and we'll hit apply. And when you get the pop-up, it says select an action. So you can add credits, deduct credits from their total, or if you want to just set a new credit amount. So this will override, let's say they have 100 credits, and everyone who's selected is now going to have a total of 20 credits. So you can just override. So a really simple tool here. And again, if you need to do one-offs, or if a bunch of people, if you have a smart list and you want to search for the smart list or the tags and reward those people who took certain actions, you can certainly do that. And then also with the tags here, just click this. You can add tags or remove tags as needed here. So if you need to segment people based on tags, you can do that. And then within Zapier, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but if you're updating or creating a user, this will be a separate tip of the week that we cover later. But you can see here under the update user action, if you're not familiar with Zapier, it's just a way to update things on your site from using third-party tools. But under the update credits, we see the same things: add credits, deduct credits, or override the existing amount. And then we would just put that amount here. And then same thing with the tags. You can, well, it says delete all tags, but it should be add or remove tags. And then you can assign the member tag. So when you do this in Zapier, you're not going to see the tag name. What you can do is go to your smart list and tags here in the sidebar. And under member tags, each tag has an ID. So you create the tags, you're in charge of your tags. So when you're using it with Zapier, if you want to kind of add in the workflow people to 25 and 2, you would just do 25, 2, whatever the numbers would be for the IDs, and they would be added or removed accordingly. So those are big updates there, actually, because if users are taking action outside of your site, like filling out forms or some other actions that you're doing for them, or even on your BD website, and you're trying to kind of create a workflow that rewards them in some way or tags them in some way, you can now do that with the API or with Zapier. This next one here is related to SEO. Nothing much to show here. We improved some logic with some of the canonical URLs. Those are the URLs that tell Google what the parent page is. If there are many pages with the same content, it points to the main one and says, put this one in the Google search results. We improved some logic to eliminate some redundancies, and that should help every BD site with their SEO. Just tightening that up a bit. And there are a few more updates we're going to do related to canonical URLs and SEO down the line. This next one here is related to business data. Not much to show here, but We optimize the processing time, especially when importing thousands of business data records. It was already pretty quick and swift. You just had to kind of set it and forget it. But now the processing time will be a bit faster, and we're looking at a bit more optimization with that as well. Also, what's in the works here, these next years, a lot in the works, but we're working on more translations. Right now, with just a click, you can translate the front end of your BD site into obviously English, Spanish, French, and German. So a total of 4 languages. Right now, if you want to do other languages, you have to manually edit the text labels. There's about 1,800 text labels. Most text labels are 1 to 3 words long. So you just kind of go boom, boom, boom. It is cumbersome, so we're looking to add more translations, mainly in the most popular markets that we see users requesting it. We have a short list, so we're looking to have that available by November. And then the next 2 here, they're just on the cusp of getting pushed through QA. We're going to create individual SEO pages to showcase and help your members' reviews get ranked. So this will help with SEO and the reviews your members get. And then also with payments, those of you who need to send payment information to third-party accounting software like QuickBooks, we're going to create webhooks for all recurring payment attempts and failures. Basically, every time there's a recurring payment that's being processed on your site overnight, the status of that can be sent out with a webhook, and you can update your third-party accounting softwares as needed or wherever additional tracking is needed for that payment information with the users. So quite a few updates here, a lot more down the line. We're trying to end 2024 with a bang, but why don't we take a few questions just looking at these updates, the new and upcoming features. If you want to raise your hand, if you have a comment or question about these, then we can move on to the next segment of the webinar here. So let's see. Nobody's got their hand up. That's perfectly fine.
We do have a question typed in from Don. He was asking, how did we clean out old posts or blogs?
So the question is, how do we clean out old posts or blogs?
Yeah, going along with the cleanup update.
Gotcha. So a blog usually exists online. I was just reading a blog from 2012 the other day, an article. So if you don't want a specific article on your site, that would be a manual action. There's no way for the system to know that there's an article that you no longer like having on your sites. So maybe he wants to expand on the question or raise his hand. We can maybe provide a bit more guidance on that. But yeah, if you don't want an article on your site, that would be a subjective choice to kind of want to remove that, unless there's a criteria for the word old in that context. All right, let's see here. And okay, we'll move on. We are doing a free swag giveaway in the Facebook group. We're going to pick 20. I love that we started this shop here. So I'll just go to the shop real quick. Whoops, not that one. We'll go to shop.brilliantdirectories.com. I'll actually share a link here, and we'll share a link to the Facebook group. So we'll choose 20 lucky winners. A lot of you in the webinar, I know you've already gotten your swag. We're at a point where you can be a repeat winner for this, but if we go to the Facebook group, and I'll share a link, all you have to do is leave a comment on this post, and I'll share this post right now. Here it is, swag giveaway. And you'll automatically be entered into the contest. I think on October 1st, that'll be Tuesday next week. We'll randomly choose some winners. We'll shout you out in the post mentioning the winners, and you can choose whatever you like, some BD swag from the shop here. All right. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of time today for questions and answers. So if you need some help with your Brilliant Directories website, if you're trying to achieve something, if you're having trouble with signing up members, need some strategy assistance, we're here to help. Feel free to use the raise your hand feature, and we can take your questions and do our best to help you. We'll try to limit it to about maybe a maximum 3 to 4 minutes per question, just so we can get to everyone. I see Biggie had a hand up here.
Okay, I think we got it. Hi, Jason.
Hello, how are you today?
I am well, thank you. I had a question regarding member import. And I was just checking out the documentation for your new instant business data import versus CSV import. And I think I want to have to do a CSV import. And
yes, do you have the data yourself already on your computer in a file?
I will, yes.
Okay. Yeah, you would want to use a CSV import for that.
Right. And I found the documentation. Now, what I'm trying to see is some specific features. When I looked at the instant business data, it had some automatic find logos, it had the geocoding records, and it was creating the about section blurb. And I was trying to figure out, I know the geocoding is also done in the CSV import, but I need to provide my own API key. So how do those three kind of differ between those two? Like, for example, when you say find logos, is that actually already part of your instant business data,
Correct.
database?
Correct.
So they are in there. You don't.
Yes,
go
they're
out to
already
find
in there. It's already part of the business data. Not all the records have it, so it's fetching to see which ones can be fetched and added to the import, the instant import. If you're doing a CSV import, you're going to want to include the image file name in the file. Do you mind if I ask where you got the data from?
I just got a software to
Okay.
search data with some AI functionality and all that. Mostly coming from the data will be coming from LinkedIn.
Okay. Let me share this with you. How to import members. There is a section with images.
I found that too. So I just wanted to see that none of those versions go out and fetch them for me. I have to get them myself.
Yes, they're two separate things. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. How about the geocode records? Why did it not talk about needing an API key in the instant business data? But I do need to bring my own when I import a CSV in order to geocode the members, which I understand is necessary to search by location.
Yes, basically what a geocode does is it fetches the longitude and latitude of a business. That's how location searches are done on the Brilliant Directories website. If you have the longitude and latitude, there are fields in the CSV file for lat and lon. If you have those, the geocode should be automatically done when you're importing the members. Because the reason we geocode members, if we just have a street address, that's not the same as having the longitude and latitude, which Google relies upon to do the location searches on the front end. So if you're going to have location searches on the front end of your website, so if I type Los Angeles here, you're going to want to connect the Google Maps API anyways to your site.
Okay.
It sounds like you're in the beginning stages of the site. You've kind of set it up.
I'm still in the beginning stages. Yeah, 3 months later.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the Google Maps API is because since you just mentioned like geocoding is important, that means on the front end, you're going to want to conduct location searches. So I'd recommend doing the Google Maps. So that way, even with like just the street address, or even if there's no street address, just the city and state, it can find a longitude and latitude for those members imported with the CSV file.
Yeah, that sounds good. And that's no problem. I can figure that out. And so what I had really liked about the instant business data was the about section that's created to make the and it is created, right? You create that and it's not part of your database already. Is that correct?
It is it's a new it's a new creation so that it gives Google something to bite on, because otherwise it would be just thin pages. So it adds a little bit of content just to give the page a chance of ranking in Google. Let me share something with you though. You can do this yourself through other methods.
Okay.
Let me just, the methodology is there. So this is using ChatGPT for member spotlight articles, but you can use the same methodology for creating the about section for the member. So I'm going to share this link here. It's a fun video to watch, this one actually. And instead of creating a blog article post, what you can do is update the about section using the same methodology for the user.
Okay.
So will basically, if you're uploading your own CSV, and I think that's a great idea. If you don't have any about information, you just have phone numbers and addresses, again, this will give Google something to bite on and hopefully rank the page and index the page in their SERPs.
Okay.
So I know it doesn't fully answer your question, but give it a try. I like what you're trying to do there as well. But ask in the Facebook group. I know you said you mentioned you chatted with support, or join us in another webinar and let us know what progress you made.
Always will. Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate it.
Good luck. Thank you. All right, good questions there. Good importing questions. We got a great friend, Rich, here. Let me unmute you, Rich.
Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, I put in the chat, and if you go to our site, I can show you the example. I can put a link. Actually, in the chat, I put the link to the member. Quick question. So notice on our social media, we have all of those, icons, and under the phone number, there's a button. Can we convert my website, the calendar booking page? Can we convert that instead of text to a button?
Yeah, let's do it together. You want to do it right now?
Yeah, it'd be great, because that's one thing that I think make it look more uniform.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we had to eliminate. I don't know if you want to share this with members as well, but we used to have every member could have hyperlinks within their bio section or what have you. But we got challenges where we don't know where those links are going, to a nefarious site, or also just leaving our site.
Yeah.
So we kind of turned off that feature where none of the if anybody puts a link like to their LinkedIn page, whatever. Plus, some of those could be dead links after a period of time if they didn't update it. So we turned that feature off within what people are posting, content and so forth. But obviously, we have it on as part of the profile section here.
Yeah, generally you can offer it as for premium members. So if they're paying, they're getting the benefit, and usually members that are paying are not necessarily, I can't say for always, but
less likely.
They're less likely to because then they're going to lose their spot and all that stuff. So I'm just going to add a quick button class here to customize this. These are actually in a widget, not in the form. These two. Yeah. So let's see if that works.
Yeah, and speaking of that, that's what we did here. So these are what we call our Rockstar members, our paid members, our pro levels, whatever you want to call them. And so all of these do create links. Whereas if a free member joins, they can put in all their social media, but it doesn't populate on their profile.
Right. You're omitting that from their public profile page. Okay. So I did it in the primary color, and I made him a button. Do you want to just keep the URL in there? I think that's fine. Or otherwise you can put text like visit my website, but it already says my website here. So
yeah, I think leave the text in it. That way, if we see a typo or they see a typo, they know that the button may not be working. Yeah.
Okay. I'll put a little arrow there so it just looks like it's more clickable for you.
Yeah.
Thing right there, just a model. Where's that book link here? Where are my eyes going?
Is that going to be across the widget for anybody that puts that in the form? It's going to carry throughout all the forms.
Yeah, this is It's in this widget here, member profile display website links.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is in a widget. There's some logic here and add some schema markup to some of these, so it's a little bit more than just a form field there.
That looks awesome. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's a good size and everything. You can keep it like that.
Okay, excellent. Well, I appreciate it. Absolutely.
Sure. Thank you. Good stuff there. Yeah, site's looking good. It's a fun directory, podcasters directory. Let me just share a little bit. So he created a marketplace of people who have podcasts and people who want to be guests on podcasts. They're experts and whatnot. They have something to share, and it kind of connects the two together. So super cool idea there. And site looks great. All right, let's see who's got their hands up here. We got a good friend, Michael. Let me unmute you, Michael.
Hey, this is Michael up in Boston. Great to be on. So obviously you've had a lot of experience and with some sites of your own, as well as a lot of people in the community. And I was hoping you could share just a few tactics or ideas for, other than paid advertising, for generating leads for members within a community.
So it would depend on the industry. So can you give me, maybe we can choose a niche and use that as an example?
Sure. So I mean, let's say like within boating, if you were looking for people that are looking to buy and sell boats.
Perfect. If you're not going to do pay, so we have limited options here. So you can do direct mailers, which most people don't do anymore. Bed Bath & Beyond went out of business with their 20% off coupons, or bankrupt, or restructured, we should say. Social media. So you can have a Facebook group, like we have our Brilliant Directories Facebook group. and just get like-minded people to, share in that group. It doesn't always have to be a hard sell. Sometimes people want to be part of a community just for the camaraderie or the fun, or to get exposure to things they're interested in. So that's another thing. Before Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups were popping, and there are a lot of like business people more business-like people on LinkedIn. Maybe more boat and yacht owners are on LinkedIn because whatever. So there are groups on LinkedIn as well, and then also your own page. So obviously you can have something to focus on social media. So now with TikTok and Reels and things like that, with Instagram and stories, you can create shorts around people buying and selling or reviewing boats. And obviously the end game there is to direct people to just like an auto trader website, like a boat trader website. It sounds like you're like a classified for boats that you're looking to create. Other than that, you can take it to a next level. Like that's more hands-off stuff. Like you're just working behind your computer. But if you really wanted to get like more hands-on, and you can start with your own local community, you can try to create meetups and then expand to other cities or regions that might be nearby, and grow it like a grassroots thing. That way, obviously, again, more hands-on, and you're going to have to be somewhere in person and arrange things. But that kind of stuff is fun too.
Okay, no, that's helpful. So there's no silver bullet, just a lot of.
One more thing that I mentioned: if you're not going to do pay-per-click, then there's media. You can do press releases. You can get picked up in articles. You can exchange links with other articles and get mentioned. So you can build up some steam by cross promotion with other brands or companies where you guys mention each other and build each other up. And usually going after like the gorillas doesn't really work because they're already established. You want to go after the C or B listers, and you can get your foot in the door a lot easier that way.
Okay, and I'll finish up with one other question. So I was considering launching a second BD site, and I was just wondering, obviously they can both be within the same login, but is there a way to transfer some of the basic updates and things like that I've painstakingly done over the last few months to the
like a one-time transfer to that site?
Yeah,
so you can use the clone. Like BD has a service to clone your site. Let me just see here. On website. Let's Google it real quick. Here, clone my website.
Okay.
You can use this service. Use the promo code VIP30. Basically, the reason there's a cost for it is like we oversee, because a lot of sites have billing and stuff, and we need to kind of curate exactly what, because you don't want like the recurring payments to be cloned on another site and things like that. So there's a little bit of a nuance to it, but the team's really good. You can let them know exactly what parts of your site you want cloned, and then you'll be good to go, and you can start doing your customizations on the second site.
Oh, that's great. That's super helpful.
Yeah. Thank you for the questions, Michael. Good stuff there. Thank you. How you doing, David? Just make sure you're unmuted on your end. You typed in a question. We would like to do a freemium BD website that would let our clients get a free text listing for their name, soccer club, business website, email, WhatsApp number. How would we set this up?
The idea for us is to be able to create a freemium fundraising model. So we would allow, let's say we go to a state soccer association, a camp, a club, and say, all your members get a free text listing, website, email, all that. And then now we have their database. Now we're going to be able to target specifically to what their needs are. Mom and dad have two little kids is going to be different from a senior person, right? So to be able to reach out to them with their permission, and then we can upsell them, if you will, on the digital magazines. We also create the digital magazines to raise funds for their children, for the club, for a cause, giving back. So, the idea was, how do we set it up that we give them a free text listing? They type everything out. And then, we have, like a sales funnel to follow through on their specific needs.
Sure. Would this be and then would they be listed in a public directory where they're searchable, or are they just registering their name and information?
It would be private to us, but also public. And it would just be a text listing. You couldn't click on the website. If they wanted to upgrade, then we charge them, let's say, $5 a month to have links to their website, and when their tryouts are, and on and on.
Got it. So, I mean, to me, that just sounds like a free sign up, like a free membership plan sign up.
Yeah, and then once you get the info, once you get the data on them, who they are, what their club is, all that, and then our group, we can now reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you got a tournament coming up in the next 4 months. We could work together with you, build your magazine. Now you can get it out to 400, 500 teams to let them know how cool you guys are, how you're, we call it
when you say get it, so the families would be joining, like the mom and dad are going to create an account because they're part of the soccer or club or organization. Their kids are. Yeah, but who's going to be making the magazine? Not the parents. There's a bigger organization.
Right. We have a group that we're working with that has created 62 million digital magazines. So what we're going to be able to do is work with them, feature their magazine so people can say, hey, I love soccer, I love fishing, I love bowling, whatever. And they could get a free version based on advertising, or they can have a paid version, $3 an issue, $5 an issue, that sort of thing.
Got it. So what you can do is when the parents join or whoever's joining, you can have subcategories like the member categories, and they can select their interests. Now that you've explained it a bit better. So what they're selecting is, because they're not businesses, they're not selecting I'm a restaurant that has American food or whatever it is. You can have the subcategories as their interests, and the top level category can be who they are. I'm a parent, I'm a coach, I'm a, whatever. And then you can create segments based on their interests and send, newsletters or whatever you need. Once you know their interests, then you have the segmentation part done. Then you can figure out who you're going to send certain offers to based on their interests.
Right. Yeah, that's very cool, because they may have their kids go to a private school. Another one has a public school. Another one does homeschooling. And so one of those, they're going to be different, right?
Exactly. So when you want to do like a push to people who go to private school, what you can do is in your admin area, like let's say you're going to email them. What you can do is you can choose a top level category. Oh, this one doesn't have any subs. And then the associated sub level category, which would be like private. So this would be parents, private schools. Do a search and then create a smart list. And you can say parents of private school kids or whatever. And now you can email market to this smart list. Now that you've identified their interests, you've created a smart list in the system, and then you can send a newsletter with the send newsletter functionality to send them offers or in things that might interest them.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah. I would go them, because it doesn't sound like it's a business directory. It's just like people, but people who are part of these clubs and stuff. You just really need to know their interests.
So here's another quick question. I want to reach out to somebody that knows what they're doing, especially someone here in America that speaks English and understands English. They're really good with BD. How do I request specific things that we're doing to build up our BD directories?
Yeah, that's another good question. I would go to the, I think we've mentioned this in the marketplace in Brilliant Directories. And you can click hire experts. I would try to do as much as you can first with working with the BD support team. If you hit a roadblock there, you can come here. And I think if you go to the profile page here, I know Ryan's on the webinar here. He's from Directory Toolkit. It should say their location, like United States of America, right here on their profile page. So you can just send a request here. Here, I'll put the search results back in the chat here. And I'll give you a tip if you're going to work with either a developer or a designer or even just like a marketing strategist. They're not really developing anything on your site. The way to be successful when working with someone, in my opinion, is to start with simple and small scopes Sending 40 pages of your goals, it's going to lead nowhere. If you just have like, we're trying to do one objective, and you set you and the person you're going to work with, you set yourselves up for small wins. And as you build that relationship together, it's gonna flourish a lot better and have a higher chance of success as opposed to larger scoped projects right out the gate. So there's some tips there from that I would recommend.
That's great. One of the things that we want to do is promote the mother and father and the family's businesses as well.
There you go. I'm familiar with like PTAs, and we're trying to get sponsorships for the school. So you reach out to the parents that might have businesses that want to like have their, I'm familiar with that. BD is a perfect platform for that. Create a directory of your sponsors, a directory of the families, and then the businesses. So that way it's a nice little ecosystem of people helping people from the same community.
Yes,
I'm with you. Yeah, that's a perfect application for the platform. I would just keep it simple. And if you work with someone, work with them starting simple as well. Don't do too over the top scopes. That'll set you up for success.
Last question, how do I determine what they should be paid?
A little bit of time, a little bit of their experience, kind of just like any tradesperson, a little bit in your gut. So also you can check on Fiverr, which are like other third-party sources, and see what going rates are for certain types of tasks. But definitely skill plays a role. You mentioned you want someone in America who's an American speaker and things like that. Sometimes there's a premium as opposed to going, to virtual assistants outside the country. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a negative thing. It just means that there's going to be different price points for certain things. But also, more importantly than the price is someone who's understanding you communication-wise. Because if there's a disconnect with communication, I've seen these things drag on for months, and then everyone's upset at the end of the process. I want a refund. You didn't do this. That's what you want to avoid, is what I call the black hole of development. So, and this is just good information for everyone. So, the smaller scopes, you can build a relationship. There isn't too much on the line starting out with the smaller scopes. Set yourself up for wins. And if the relationship is successful, you can go bigger and bigger as needed. But, you're not going to be saying, oh, here's 20 grand. It's going to take 4 months. And that's the first project you guys worked on. And then at the end of the 4 months, it's just not what it was supposed to be. Everyone's going to be upset.
So I thought that was the last question, but so this replay is going to be on the BD Ben Facebook?
Yeah, it'll be on the Facebook group. We'll do a post probably about 10 or 15 minutes after the webinar is completed.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, David. Good questions, or good luck with your project. All right, good questions there from David. How are we doing on time? Yeah, it looks like we're just about that time. Anyone got a final question for us? You want to raise your hand here? All right, it was a good webinar. Great questions. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, just leave a comment on the free swag giveaway in the BD Facebook group. Lots of updates. The next webinar will be in October, in 2 weeks. So we're just getting towards the end of 2024. This year went by quickly. Don't forget to download the BD app. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Apple app or Google app. We'll post the replay in the BD Facebook group. Thank you for those of you who joined us on YouTube Live. On behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, thank you guys so much. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great day and a brilliant week.